Ian determines that, spoiler, is the secret to his revenge plan when Daniel confronts Sharon. At Crimson Lights, Summer and her mother sat awkwardly. Phyllis is furious with Michael's disgusting change of defense for Sharon, but her daughter reassures her that it is only a desperate move. Her mother isn't entirely convinced that Sharon won't get away with this either, considering how much she has gotten away with throughout her past. Justice is needed for the numerous victims she has left behind. Summer advises her to put this behind her and concentrate on her goals for the future. As Billy enters, Phyllis looks at him and acknowledges that her daughter might be correct. Billy sits down with them while Summer gets up to leave. Phyllis thanks her for visiting, and she departs to take her kid to hockey. Billy observes that she appears somewhat less depressed. He threatens to go away when Phyllis tells him she's progressed from moping to being prepared to blow things up. Sharon and her group of idiots have managed to manipulate the legal system, she tells him. Ian overhears them from a table a few feet away. Phyllis clarifies that she had to prioritize her son, which is why she summoned Billy there. She's considered it, but she needs to concentrate on Daniel, so she can't cooperate with his plan to pursue Victor. The abbot respects her level of child protection, but what can she do? Determined to take action, Phyllis laments that Sharon has dated the majority of the GCPD officers and that Michael and Nick are completely deceived. She must prevent the reopening of this investigation. Billy cautions that focusing on this will just make her feel weaker because she is not the judge and jury. Would she pursue Sharon directly? Ian smiles and leaves as she says she won't do it. Phyllis and Billy YNR are obsessed with Sharon. Phyllis questions why justice is only regarded as such when it is applied in court. You want me to tell you about civilized society? Billy queries. She has been seeing visions of walking around town and exacting revenge on Sharon for all the harm she has done to her family. He understands the desire for vengeance. There doesn't have to be death, she continues, there just needs to be something in the event that the court is unsuccessful. Billy assures her that carrying out gory schemes won't make anything better. That would be a grave error. Phyllis is certain that Sharon and her team are merely hurling objects at the wall to test if they adhere. He makes her think of the time she confronted Diane, set her up, and staged her own demise. Doing something so desperate again is not a smart idea. Phyllis would be better off focusing her energies on working for him. She charges him with implying that her need for vengeance is not legitimate while his is. He notes, "My way keeps you free so you can be there for your family." They can prevail in the battle he is supporting. It would provide a landing pad for Daniel and his talent. She would like to participate in it, but she needs to focus on this Sharon dilemma. According to Billy, they should seize what is rightfully theirs and hold on to it forever. Billy tells Daniel that this is a lifeline to provide him with consolation and support as they step outside. Although Phyllis would enjoy that, she is sick of Nick and Sharon. She needs to let that go, he says again. It's useless, and they should focus on something constructive. Billy presents Phyllis YNR with his concept. Daniel encounters Nick when he wanders inside Crimson Lights. The Newman inquires about Lucy's Christmas experience, as he has been thinking about him. Daniel reveals that although he and Lucy made an effort to please Heather, she believed that she would be betraying her mother if she enjoyed the holidays. Lucy merely shed a few tears and attempted a grin. After a day like that, Nick is confident it is difficult to return to reality. Since hearing that Sharon says there was a third person in the flat and that they are the actual murderer, Daniel is experiencing some difficulties with reality. Nick explains that Sharon had hypnosis because of gaps in her recollection when they are seated at a table. They discovered a gloved hand in this way, and Heather fell across the room. Daniel is not impressed by this new evidence. He questions whether all of this is only a convenient hallucination. Nick is aware that although it would appear that way, she didn't do it. It is unclear who did it. All they can do is hope the cops will look into it. Even if the building surveillance footage was unsalvageable, there is still a chance that something else from the area will surface. Investigating this will need detective effort. Daniel finds all of this absurd and wants to hear Sharon's side of the story firsthand. Nick updates Daniel on the most recent YNR. Chance is informed by Sharon and Michael that she has been undergoing hypnosis sessions and that they are filling in the gaps in her recollection caused by her blackouts. During the most recent session, she heard Heather collapse across the room and remembered a gloved hand. She has already confessed and entered a plea, the detective reminds her. He has examined all of the evidence, and there is no proof that anyone else was present. She is still the sole suspect. The police officer doesn't find any of this convincing, but the attorney is prepared to present the evidence to the authorities that her medications contained PCP. Sharon acknowledges that she set Daniel up, but her attorney says they will address that later. He requests that Chance reopen the inquiry. Sharon supports this and maintains that she did not murder Heather. She says that because it's the truth, not to get out of getting punished. Somewhere, the true murderer is still at large. This is about a woman dying, another woman being free, and everyone in Genoa City being safe, Michael says. Chance, Michael, and Sharon review her YNR recollections. Chance requests further information, but neither Sharon nor Michael can provide it. They need the cops to investigate this because of this. Chance is the ideal candidate for this position, according to Sharon, and Heather's family should know who took her away. Daniel and Nick show up. Daniel wants to know what Sharon is attempting to accomplish now, but he doesn't want to be there. He wanted to hear the new defense they were developing, according to his mother. Chance and Nick caution him against being very heated. Are the police buying her crap? Daniel wonders. Sharon apologizes that he must consider this over the Christmas break. She maintains that this is serious business and that if Phyllis hadn't attacked her, she would have said nothing. The detective says Daniel is simply giving them the benefit of the doubt when he questions Chance. When he acknowledges that he will provide a case to reopen the inquiry, Sharon exhales with relief. Chance has doubts about Sharon YNR. Daniel laments that he cannot even encourage his daughter to believe in justice while they are present after Chance leaves. He has every right to doubt her, Sharon assures him. Daniel claims he doesn't require her approval to feel the way he does. Sharon shares with him how difficult the situation is for her. She needs to know what happened, but she is committed to accepting responsibility for her actions. She keeps altering her tale, he complains. Nick defends his ex by claiming that what she saw while under hypnosis was genuine. Daniel finds it hard to believe that and questions why Michael is acting so quickly when he had a plan in place. The attorney claims that he sincerely thinks so. The killer is still out there, so they must investigate every possibility. He finds it frightening that they must go for Heather's killer even though they are unsure of how these things are related. Daniel says they should keep him updated so he doesn't have to hear it from someone else, but he's not sure what to think anymore. Daniel sighs and remarks that this phase should have ended because losing Heather was becoming real. Does he have to think that her killer is watching now? Sharon implores him to pay attention to Chance, Nick, or Michael. This is about his safety as much as it is about her case. The murderer may still be out there. Sharon worries about how much more he and Lucy will have to go through when he storms away. Nick clarifies that he will investigate this as well. Returning quickly, Ian slams the door of the motel. Jordan queries whether he's attracting attention to them by acting so enthusiastically on the streets. He explains that a problem brought on by her error is going to be fixed as he removes his coat. They can also enjoy themselves while doing it. They argue about all the work she has done after that enrages her. Jordan reminds him that despite everything she has done thus far, she has received diddly. He expresses regret and advises her that they must continue to communicate with each other. He declares more blood will have to be shed. Jordan inquires about the idea. He clarifies that Phyllis was involved. He grilled her trout when they first met in the woods. The moment was out of time. He won't elaborate. She questions whether jealousy is warranted. He's hoping she'll get more energy. Phyllis is the ideal target for his next plan because of her animal nature, he says, assuring Jordan that she has no significance to him. Jordan is informed by Ian about his Phyllis YNR strategy. Summer walks inside Crimson Lights while laughing on the phone with Harrison. When she runs into Chance, the atmosphere deflates. They discuss Harrison's Christmas in passing. The police officer assured her that the remote-controlled vehicle would not have a siren before dropping it off. When she mentions Sharon's change of tail, the situation becomes even more awkward. That could be a risky subject for them to discuss, he believes. He detests the fact that this matter has separated them. It was terrible not to see her for Christmas, and he can't keep managing their break the way they have. Chance and Summer both despise what has transpired, but they are unsure of their next steps. Since she must still be having issues with his job, he is unsure if anything has changed. Although she acknowledges it, she reminds him that she takes this matter extremely personally. Chance reminds her that he must abide by certain regulations. Summer can accept that. She obviously needs some things that he is unable to provide. Chance acknowledges that he has been questioning his approach to the case as a whole. That might occur once more. If Sharon walks, would being around him drive her insane? That doesn't have to happen to them again. Summer can see that he is not responsible for Sharon's situation after hearing his side of the story. She took it out on her brother because she was worried about him. All she wanted was for Daniel's horror to be over. She is not held accountable by the detective. He asks if they can have supper sometime, although he has no idea what will happen in this instance. Summer smiles and says she would really like that. Daniel's car skidded to a stop outside the Genoa City Athletic Club. He climbed out, his jaw clenched and eyes blazing. Sharon was inside, and she wasn't going to sidestep the truth this time. Daniel had pieced enough together to know she had been keeping secrets that could change everything. As he pushed through the doors, he barely registered the sleek decor or the murmured chatter of the lunch crowd. His sights were set firmly on Sharon. Sharon, seated at a corner table, sensed him before she saw him. The charged energy rolling off Daniel was impossible to ignore. She turned, her expression shifting from surprise to guarded wariness as he approached. "Daniel," Sharon greeted, trying to mask her discomfort with a calm smile. "What brings you here?" Daniel didn't bother with pleasantries. "We need to talk. Now." Sharon's fingers tightened around her glass of water. "Is this about Summer?" "If so." "This isn't about Summer," Daniel cut her off, his voice low but firm. "It's about you, Sharon. And the lies you've been telling." The color drained from Sharon's face, but she quickly recovered, forcing an air of indignation. "I don't know what you're talking about." Daniel leaned closer, his voice dropping to a harsh whisper. "Don't play games with me. I know about Ian Ward." Sharon's gasp was barely audible, but it was enough to confirm Daniel's suspicions. She set her glass down with trembling hands and glanced around nervously. "Lower your voice," she hissed. "Why?" Daniel challenged. "Afraid someone might overhear how you've been helping that psycho?" Sharon's defenses crumbled. "It's not what you think," she began, her voice pleading. "I didn't have a choice." Daniel's laugh was bitter. "There's always a choice, Sharon. You chose to protect Ian, knowing what he's capable of. Why? Tears welled in Sharon's eyes as she struggled to find the words. He threatened me, she admitted finally. He threatened my family. I thought if I cooperated, I could keep everyone safe. Daniel's expression softened marginally, but his anger remained. You should have come to me, to Nick, to anyone. Instead, you've made things worse. Before Sharon could respond, her phone buzzed on the table. She glanced at the screen and paled. It's him, she whispered. Daniel's hand shot out, snatching the phone before Sharon could answer. He stared at the screen, Ian's name flashing ominously. We're ending this, Daniel declared, pocketing the phone. You're going to tell me everything.